Get ready for another 30-minute flow. Thank you so much for choosing to practice with me. Be patient with yourself. Be grateful for all the changes that you're creating, one practice at a time. Take the practice at your pace. Incorporate any kind of modifications that seems helpful to you. And if you have a block, keep it handy. But other than that, you don't need any other props for the practice. And whenever you're ready, I'll meet you on the mat. Please do consider subscribing to the channel. See you on the mat. Begin the practice seated on our heels. Stretch and extend both your arms alongside your ears. Grab hold of your right wrist. Turn the right palm up towards the sky. Turn your gaze up towards the sky and take a lateral side body stretch. Keep opening your top shoulder and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1. Come back to the center. Arms come out into a T. Lift your hips. Stack your hips directly over your knees. Bring your left palm onto the mat or on the ground. Extend your right leg. Right hand extends alongside your ears. Squeeze your glutes and work your bottom hip forward. So you're squaring your hips and bring your right elbow to touch your right knee 5 times. For 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1. Extend your right leg. Bring your sit bones down onto the mat. Turn your chest towards your extended leg. Bring your left foot on the inside of your right inner thigh. Make sure that your sit bones are on the mat and you're squaring your chest to your right foot. Extend your arms alongside your ears. Hinge from your hips. Fold forward. Keep your right leg active. Pull up on your kneecap. Work your shoulders away from your ears and reach through the crown of your head. For 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1. Come back up. Square your chest to the front of the mat. Sit bones are still down onto the mat. Work your right elbow on the inside of your right knee. If you need to bend your right leg a little bit, go ahead, do that. Extend your left hand up towards the sky. Make sure that the back of your neck is long and sit bones are glued down onto the mat. If this feels accessible, extend your left hand alongside your ears. And if you're comfortable here, try to grab hold of your right toes with your left hand. Both your sit bones are always down on the mat. For 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1. Release. Palm the mat. Plant your right foot outside of your right hip. Stack your shoulders directly over your hips. Arms come out into a T. Right palm comes down onto your right thigh. Look towards your left palm and extend your left hand up alongside your ears, coming into a gate. Keep opening your top shoulder. Don't collapse your chest. Squeeze your glutes, engage your abs. For 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1. Release. Palm the mat. Tuck your back foot. Lift your back knee. Bring your right knee into your chest, coming into a tiger crunch. Extend your right leg all the way up, 3-legged dog. Squeeze your inner thighs. Push the mat away from you and extend through your lat muscles. Tap your right toes down onto the floor and lift back up. For 4, 3, 2 and 1. Right knee into chest. Shift forward into a plank. Plant your right foot in between your palms. Left foot comes out at an angle, 45-degree angle. Extend your right knee, coming into a half pyramid. Adjust your stance. Make sure that your feet are on parallel tracks and fold on to your right leg. Lift back up and fold. Back up and fold. 2 more times. And fold. Lift back up and fold and hold your pyramid. Squeeze your inner thighs. You're folding from your hips. Lift halfway. Shift your weight forward. Palm the mat. Make sure that your shoulders are coming directly over your wrists. Float your left leg and tap your left toes down onto the mat and lift for 5, 4. Keep the back of your neck long. 2 and 1. Bend both your knees. Left foot comes to meet your right. Lift up. Arms come alongside your ears. Chair. Keep sinking your hips down. Engage your lower abs. Tuck your tailbone. Bring your palms to your chest. Float your heels off the mat. You're still holding your chair for 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1. Extend your knees, still keeping your heels floating. Arms come alongside your ears. Gaze comes up towards the sky. Open your chest, taking a mini back bend. Cactus your arms and extend for 5, 4, 3. Keep your glutes tight, squeeze them so you have more balance. 1. Bring your heels down onto the mat. Fold forward. Halfway lift. Palm the mat. Step back into plank. Flow through chaturanga. Come into your upward dog and hold, or into your cobra. Work your chest through your upper arms. Press down with the tops of your feet. Bring your knees onto the mat. Shift your hips back. Bring your sit bones on your heels. Back to your starting position. Stretch and extend your arms alongside your ears. Grab hold of your left wrist with your right elbow. Bring your gaze up towards the sky. Open your chest and take a lateral side body stretch and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1. Release. Arms come out into a T. Lift your hips. Stack your hips directly over your knees. Bring your right palm down onto the mat outside your right hip. Extend your left leg hip height. Bring your left hand alongside your ears. Squeeze your glutes. Take 5 crunches, bringing your left knee to your left elbow for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring your sit bones down. Face your chest towards your extended left leg. Bring your right foot onto your left inner thigh. Arms come alongside your ears. Hinge from your hips. Fold forward. Keep your extended leg active. Pull up on your kneecap. Work your shoulders away from your ears. Keep your neck long and reach through the crown of your head. Come back up. Square your chest to the front of the mat. Bring your right foot to your left inner thigh. Work your left elbow on the inside of your right knee. If you need to bend your right knee a little bit, go ahead, do that. Extend your right hand up towards the sky. Sit bones are glued to the mat. If you are comfortable here, extend your right hand alongside your ears. And with every exhale, try to catch your left toes With your right hand, keep your top shoulder open and sit bones glued down to the mat. For 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1, release. Plant your left foot, plant your palms, come up into a wide legged all four position. Stack your shoulders directly over your hips, arms come out into a T, bring your left palm onto your left thigh, look towards your right palm and take a lateral side body stretch. Release your stretch, face your chest towards your extended foot and hinge from your hips, fold. Come back up and fold. Back up. 3, 2 and 1. Come back up, face the front of the mat, palm the mat, tuck your back toes, lift your back knee, left knee comes into your chest, tiger crunch, float your left leg all the way up, three-legged dog. Squeeze your glutes, push the mat away from with your palms, tap your left toes to the mat and lift back up for 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1. Left knee to chest, plant your left foot in between your palms, bring your right foot at a 45-degree angle, extend your left leg, square your chest to the mat, halfway pyramid, fold onto your extended leg and lift back up. 4. Keep squaring your hips to the front of the mat, squeeze your inner thighs, hinge from your hips and hold your last fold. Lift back up, shift your weight forward, palm the mat, make sure that your shoulders are directly over your wrists and float your right leg. Tap your right foot down and lift back up. Keep the back of your neck long. 3, 2 and 1. Bend both knees, right foot comes to meet your left, come up into chair, arms alongside your ears, tuck your tailbone, engage your abs, palms to chest, float your heels and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1. Extend your knees, bring your arms alongside your ears, open your chest up towards the sky, cactus your arms. Squeeze your glutes for extra balance for 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1. Fold forward. Lift back up, palm the mat, step back into plank, flow through chaturanga, upward dog and hold. Lift your hips, downward facing dog. Bring your gaze towards your palms, squeeze your elbows towards each other and bring your forearms down onto the mat. Coming into dolphin, keep the back of your neck long, the weight is on your forearms, work your heels down towards the mat, float your right leg and hold, left leg is active, pull up on the kneecap. Switch sides, float your left leg, square your hips and squeeze your inner thighs. Transition into a forearm plank. Reach through the heels towards the back of your room. Engage your glutes. Engage your core. Shift forward in your forearm plank. Dip your knee between your palms. Come back. We'll do that 4 more times. 4, 3, 2 and 1. Back to forearm plank. Hold. Bring your hips down. Release your foot. Press the mat with the tops of your feet. Pull up on the kneecaps so your legs are active in your swings. Pull your elbows back. Work your chest through your upper arms. Keep this active. Bring the palms to the corners of the mat. Push through the palms and lift your elbows. Baby seal. Release your seal. Bring your tummy down. Float your legs. Bring your arms alongside your thighs and hold the locust for 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1. Release your feet back onto the mat. Come back into swings. Tuck your toes. Float your knees. Push your hips up. Forearm plank. Walk into dolphin. Bend your knees. Bring your gaze to your palms and shoot forward, coming into full plank. Flow through chaturanga, upward facing dog and hold. Downward facing dog. Float your right leg, three-legged dog. Squeeze your glutes, squeeze your inner thighs. Right knee to chest. Bring your right foot in between your palms. Come up, high crescent lunge. Squeeze your inner thighs. Square your hips to the front of the mat. Plant your back foot. Open up. Make sure that your shoulders are stacked directly over your hips. Sink your hips down. Reverse your warrior. Optional to bind your left hand behind your back. Bring your gaze up if that's accessible. Keep sinking into your hips. Cartwheel both your arms. Bring it on the inside of your right foot, transitioning into lizard. Here is the tricky transition. Glue your right knee to your right upper arm. Engage your core. Squeeze your inner thighs towards each other. Lift your hips up a little bit. From here, try to bring your left knee to your left elbow and crunch. We'll do that for 5 counts. 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1. Last one. Plant your left foot directly underneath your hips and stack. Release your right foot next out. So extend your right leg outside of your right hip. Transition into a one-legged crow. This is completely optional. Release your left foot back down on the mat. Bring your right foot in. Come into a toe balance. And hold. Extend your right leg. Again, this is optional. Coming into a pistol squat. Bring your right foot back, palm the mat, lift up into an L hold. Square your hips down towards the mat. Bring your left palm a few inches directly in front of your left foot. Stack your hips, open it towards the longest side of the mat. Half moon. Engage your oblique muscles. Reach through the heel of your back foot or floating foot. Square your chest back to the front of the mat. Bring your palms to your chest. Transitioning through warrior 3. Bend your floating leg. Right knee comes into your chest. One-legged Tadasana. Wrap your left fingers around your right knife edge side of your right foot. Extend your right leg. Take a standing twist. Release your twist. Catch your back right foot behind you. Kick into your right palm and Hinge from your hips, open your chest, transition into a beautiful dancers. Release your dancer. Back to one-legged Tadasana. Grab hold of your right big toe with your two fingers. Open your knee onto your side. Stay here or extend your leg. Release. Float back, warrior 3. Palm the mat. Step back into plank. Flow through chaturanga and hold your upward dog. Lift your hips. Come into a downward facing dog. Bring your gaze towards your palm. Squeeze your elbows towards one another. Bring the forearms down onto the mat. Back of your neck is long. Float your left leg and hold. Float your right leg. Transition into a forearm plank. Bring your right palm parallel to the short edge of the mat. Stack your hips. Open up into a forearm side plank. My hair is in my mouth. Switch sides. Come back into forearm plank. Hips comes down. Come into a swings. Breathe here. Keep your legs active. Palms to the corners of the mat. Push into your palm. Lift your elbows. Breathe. Baby seal. Bring your tummy down. This time you can go back into locust or you can bend your knees. Grab hold of your ankles either from the inside or from the outside depending on the opening in your shoulders. Kick into your palms. Come into a bowl or Dhanurasana. Release. Back to swings and take a breather. Keep your legs active. Tuck your toes. Lift your knees. Lift your hip. Walk into dolphin. Bend your knees. Gaze comes up towards the palms. Shoot forward into plank and flow through chaturanga. Hold your upward dog. Lift your hips. Come into downward dog. Float your left leg. Three-legged dog. Bring your left knee into chest. Plant your left foot. Come up, high crescent lunge. Squeeze your inner thighs and square your hips. Plant your back foot. Open up warrior 2. Make sure that you're stacking your shoulders directly over your hips. Engage your core. Flip your left palm. Transition into a reverse warrior. Optional to bind your right hand behind your back. Cartwheel your arms. Bring it on the inside of your left foot. Lizard lunge. We'll take our funky crunches from here. Glue your left knee to your left upper arm. Squeeze your inner thighs. Lift your hips and 5 crunches. Right knee to your right tricep. For 5, 4, 3, 2. Last one, plant your right foot underneath your hip. Extend your left outside your hips and transition into a one-legged crow. Release your right foot back, bring your left foot in, come into a toe balance. Take a breather. Float your left leg, optional coming into a pistol squat. Bend your left knee, palm the mat, come into L hold. From here, bring your right palm direct a few inches in front of your right foot. Stack your hips and transition into half moon. Square your chest to the mat. Oof, my legs are shaking. Come transition into warrior 3. Bend your left knee. Come up one-legged Tadasana. Take a breather. Wrap your right fingers around the knife edge side of your left foot. Extend your left leg, standing twist. Release. Catch your left foot behind you. Kick into your left palm. Transition into a beautiful dancers. Release your dancer. Back to one-legged Tadasana. Grab hold of your left big toe with your two-piece fingers. Open your knee onto the side and try and extend your left leg. Oh, my legs are shivering. Release back. Oop. Float back, warrior 3. Bring your left foot to meet your right. Sit into a chair. Arms come alongside your ears. Engage your core. Tuck your tailbone. Lengthen your spine. Palms to your chest. Hook your right elbow on the outside of your left knee. Take a twist. Optional to extend both your hands. Back to center. Switch sides. Come back to center. Slowly come all the way down into seated. Bring the soles of your feet together and work your heels as close to your inner thighs as possible. Work your knees down towards the ground. Sit bones are firmly planted onto the mat. Lengthen your torso, stay up here or slowly fold forward in your butterfly. Keep working your knees down, sit bones down, back of your neck long, reach through the crown of your head. Release back up, fold your knees, lift your feet off the mat, or you can have them lightly planted on the mat. Transition into Navasana and hold. Optional to extend your legs for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1. Hug your knees into chest. Release them in front of you. Come into a staff. Stretch your arms alongside your ears and fold forward, hinging from your hips. You can use a block in front of your feet. This is my favorite way to take a forward fold. Wrap your fingers on the outside of the block and fold. Shoulders are moving back. Extend the back of your neck. Every exhale, try to bring your chest closer to your thighs. Release your forward fold, move your block. Bring your back all the way down onto the mat. We'll end our practice in a bridge or a complete back bend, coming into a wheel pose. But before that, we'll work our obliques and core a little bit. Float your legs, your knees are stacked directly over your hips and your ankles are in line with your knees. Arms come out in a T. Drop your knees on the outside of your left hip. Make sure that your shoulder blades are down on the mat. Switch sides, outside of your right hip. The whole time, pay attention to your shoulders. Make sure they are sticking down onto the mat. Go only as far as possible, and we'll take 5 on each side from here. 5. Breathe through that motion. 4. 3. 2. Last one. Come back to center, plant your feet. From here we'll take a bridge, or if you have a full wheel in your practice, feel free to go there. Weight is in your heels. Lift, squeeze your glutes, engage your core, tuck your tailbone, lift your hips up towards the sky. Continue to stay here if this feels enough in your body today, or you can bring your palms on the outside of your ears. Next exhale, squeeze your glutes, push the mat down and lift all the way up. You can stay here or play with floating one leg up. Switch sides. And hold your back bend. Slowly release. Come back down onto the mat. Hug your knees into your chest. Roll from side to side. We'll transition into a shoulder stand. Support your lower back with your palms and stack your hips directly over your shoulders. Point your feet, extend your legs, squeeze your glutes. The weight is on your forearms, not on your neck. Bend your knees, bring your knees to your forehead, extend your leg, bring the toes onto the earth behind you. Keep reaching through your heels and work towards stacking your hips directly over your shoulders and extending your knees. Slowly release. For an extra challenge, try to keep your legs straight. Work your back down onto the mat and slowly bring your legs down onto the mat. Ooh. We'll end our practice in Shavasana. Take a few moments, few breaths, all for yourself. Close your eyes. Bring a big smile on your face. That was an amazing effort. Release all your muscles and stay here for at least 10 full breaths. Whenever you're ready, open your eyes, roll on to one side and slowly come back to seated. I hope you had fun doing that practice with me. You should be extremely proud of yourself for completing that flow. And it was really fun guiding you through this practice. Please do consider subscribing to my channel. I'll see you on the mat next week.